We've assembled some of the greatest minds in cycling history. The know-it-all, Adam Kelsall, reportedly has a photographic mind or something. Encyclopedic knowledge of all things cycling, well, some things, and once had to choose between a professional Nordic ski career or become a surf bum. The has-been, Billy Joe Shearsby, infamous in the world of track cycling, having won a world championship in 1993, along with two other hacks and a freckle. These days enjoys quiet walks on the beach or breaking heads. The legend, Phil Anderson, first non-European to wear the yellow jersey at some backwater race in France. Oakley's first ever pilot of their corporate jet, and so good-looking that women continue to faint even at the sight of his carpet slippers. Together they are Grupetto Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Grupetto Show. My name's Adam Kelsall, the know-it-all. I'd like to introduce you to my co-hosts, Billy Joe Shearsby.
G'day, Adam.
How are you?
I'm radiant.
Radiant. You are. You're glowing tonight.
I am.
Do you need the Phil Anderson blanket?
No. I'm just chilling here, ready to kick it off.
And the man, the legend, the first athlete, not in Australia, but in the universe, to be sponsored by Oakley Sunglasses. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Phil Anderson.
The original factory pilot.
Thank you very much. What a welcome. It's great to be back.
It's great to have you here again, Phil. Now, you are heading off to France soon.
Yes, I'm looking forward to warmer climes. That's a play on words as well, because they're going to be doing a lot of climbing in the Pyrenees and the Alps. More than the actual race, I believe. But, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Terrific. We're going to talk more. We're going to talk about the Melbourne Roobaix, but just before we do, what are some of the climbs you're doing, Phil? What are the ones you're looking forward to the most?
We'll be doing the Pyrisud. We're going to be doing Port Barles. We're going to be doing the Tourmalet, the Orbisque. We're going to be doing heaps of climbs.
Terrific. And with your business?
Yes, yep. Yeah, so we got two tours, one to the Pyrenees and then one to the Alps, each tour about 8 or 9 days long. It's just people that have watched the event on television and want to go over and experience not just the event, but riding their bikes in a beautiful part of the world and conquer some of those monumental climbs.
Sounds fabulous. Now, we're going to talk more about the Tour de France later on. We're going to give our viewers a preview of the man himself. He's going to give a preview of the race and some race predictions. But before we do, let's talk about last weekend's Melbourne Roobaix. Now, Billy Joe, you've been involved with Fixo and Andy White for a long time. Do you want to give us a little bit of a bit of an outline of what the Melbourne Roobaix is all about?
Sure, Adam. Yeah, well, the Melbourne Roubaix started out, as you said, you mentioned our friend Andy White, who was a push bike courier, much like myself, but just a fan of cycling in particular. And he organised a ride, much like the Alley Cat races, which we used to have as couriers, which is where a bunch of us used to all just drink beer and race through the streets of Melbourne on a Friday night. This one was themed around the Paris-Roubaix race, where we would detour through the cobblestone laneways at the back of, all the back streets of Melbourne. And traditionally, we would end at the Brunswick Velodrome, much like they end at the Velodrome in Roubaix. I think on the second year, he had 1,000 people turn up and realised that suddenly this was a real event that was going to need insurance. And so it just grew from there. And I believe on the weekend we had, I think some estimates were saying 3,000 people, I believe. It was a fantastic weekend. Started off on the Saturday night or afternoon with the Melbourne Custom Bicycle Show at the Darriman Indoor Sports Centre, or DISC as I believe they call it.
And Phil, you were at the Melbourne show as well, the Melbourne Bicycle Show. What are some of the bikes you saw there?
Well, I actually had a couple of my own bikes there. One which was actually my favourite bike ever, which is an old Zulu bike, which I used in the late 80s. And it's got some of the original SDI, the Shimano, integrated levers on there. In fact, the ones were sort of pre-production on that bike.
A prototype.
Yeah, prototype. So, so it was fun to have that bike there, but see some of the other bikes, some bikes going back over 100 years old, but there were other bikes, like there were bikes, wooden bikes made out of plywood.
Bikes made out of gold.
There could have been some gold leaf somewhere, yes, but...
There's a couple of those at least. One's stolen, apparently.
Why would you?
Well, I don't know. Apparently, that's just a rumour I've heard. Rumour that I've heard throughout the traps.
But anyway, no, it was a fun day, and I think it was like 200 bikes on display, and it was great walking around and seeing, there were bicycle collectors there. Any collector is a special person.
and apart from yourself there, Phil, there were some notable names walking around there, very incognito on the day. Do you recall bumping into any of those?
Would you like to enlighten me?
There was one Stuart O'Grady bumping around, the freckle.
The freckle.
Or the leopard, as we like to call him.
The leopard.
Yep. There was Shane Kelly popped in and out very, very early and disappeared. I believe Dean Jones, former National Road Team gun.
And the man who brought Gore-Tex cables to mountain biking.
I don't know who that is.
Gore-Tex cables.
Oh, I know what Gore-Tex cables are. Who did that, though?
Dean Woods.
Oh, was he there?
He.
I didn't see Dean Woods.
Didn't you say Dean Woods?
No, Dean Jones.
Dean Jones. I apologise.
Not the cricketer.
Brother of Tom.
Sorry.
Well, Phil Anderson was there as well. I definitely spotted him. May have even had a chat with him at some stage. Gordon Hill, frame builder extraordinaire, and good friend of mine.
Darren Bourne from Bourne Bicycles.
Yep. Built a bike for Tony Abbott. We're going to let him let that one slide until he comes on the show to explain himself.
So is that we're going to be in his tax return?
I don't think he does tax returns anymore after doing that. I think that's all taken care of by the Secret Service.
So it was a terrific day, and then the Sunday we had the Melbourne Roubaix, and Kylie, my partner, and I, we parked in Melbourne and then rode out along the bike path, and it was just terrific to rock up at Hawthorn Velodrome, and there were bikes everywhere, quite a wide array of bikes.
Wall-to-wall hipsters, people dressed up. I saw people from NASA. I saw Goose and Maverick from Top Gun. I saw Phil Anderson. He was there too.
Phil Anderson was everywhere.
Just popping up everywhere over the whole weekend. We couldn't get rid of the guy.
100 Stuart O'Grady's.
We did see there was a group called the Stewies, and they were out in full force with the Stuart O'Grady picture over their forehead. It was good. I was chatting to Stuart at the time when they pulled up, and somebody politely asked me to move out of the way so that they could get a photo with them and Stuart O'Grady, which was just harkened back to the years of my time on the track team.
I'm sure. Brings back memory lane. In fact, I had some good memories because Hawthorn was my original club before I turned pro. So, it did bring back memories. We used to race there a couple of days a week during the summer. And to see the infield with so many colourful costumes was great to see, the place come alive.
What was the favourite costume you saw on the day, Phil?
Oh, look, there was a very good Lance and Dr. Ferrari get-up, which pretty much take the cake. But I think the Top Gun one was very special. You got to think that this Melbourne Roubaix, it's not really a race. It's certainly an event.
It's not even slightly a race.
No. It's possibly more about the slowest than the fastest.
Or the drunkest.
There we go. I didn't see the pointy end or see what happened, when the first rider came in the track in Brunswick. But it's all about a family day. It's even like a treasure hunt almost because you're given like a challenge of 10 questions. I don't think we got one right.
No, that's just for the people who don't go straight to the coffee shop, pub and then velodrome like I do it every year. I don't. I just throw that card straight in the bin.
But it's a great community event and, we're going down alleyways. There's people sort of peering over the fence saying, what the hell, there's 2,000 bikers going down my back alley where they used to, the shit truck used to come and empty the dunnies. And now there's, 10,000 tutus going down the bloody street.
And Phil, I think the Melbourne people responded really well. Like, it's not every day you see 2,000 to 3,000 people in tutus or in Top Gun outfits or Lance Armstrong outfits. And I actually received compliments as I was riding along from motorists saying, "Oh, nice bike," or "nice suit," or whatever. And that
Get
was
the hell out of the way.
well, actually, I didn't hear any of that. So that was
No, that was me saying
that
that
was you
to you.
in your truck. So that was a really nice surprise that it was so well received.
Why don't we cut to some of the footage we got on the weekend? Because we got some great images and interviews with people. Let's go and have a look at that now.
We are at the Melbourne Custom Bicycle Show. Not
Put on
bike. Bicycle.
Okay. No recumbents here, I noticed.
Funny that.
What was the idea behind this, Andy?
Well, we had the Australian
You weren't
Custom
busy
Bike
enough?
Show.
Was that the problem?
It wasn't busy enough. We thought about an idea of swap meet before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't come to fruition, and then I'd known of this event in Belgium, which looked awesome. All these great bikes lined up, and I thought, I know enough people in Melbourne that have cool bikes. If half of them brought their bikes, we'd have an event, and you're
If
looking
you'd
at
done this 5 years ago, you could have put all 250 in.
on my
actually, yeah.
bike. I did have a few bikes back in the day.
What is the Fixo brand all about?
Well, the name is play on myxomatosis, which is a disease known in Australia for killing rabbits. But really, for me, it was an infectious thing. Like, I'm into
pedestrians.
something, and I was infecting my friends with this passion for bikes. And at the time, it was track bikes. And it was also Radiohead released a song at the time, myxomatosis, and that kind of sealed it.
It's been great walking around here today, looking at some of the amazing bikes that people have collected. Not everyone here is a former racer. Some of these people are just passionate collectors who've put a lot of time and effort into finding a special bike that really means something to them. I see a young fella up here that's got a bike that he's obviously spent a lot of time looking after and restoring. Good evening, g'day young fella. What was your name?
Billy Joe, how's it going, mate? I'm Phil.
Phil? Never heard of him. Phil?
No.
No? This is a pretty special bike, Phil. There's a lot of people stopping to look at this. What year is this from?
This is a 1990. It's a Zulu bike. It was my team bike when I was on TVM, Dutch team. I was there for 3 years, and this was cutting edge at its time in the 90s.
Super light, probably 12, 14 kilos?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, less than a ton, but close to.
I did notice that the top of the brake hood here is chewed off. What day was that from?
One of those, I think it's called the cock, mate. That's right. Yeah,
that sounds filthy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is. But I mean, this bike hasn't been restored. It's just basically it's been sitting in a box for 30 years.
So unlike modern bikes and the current crop of professional riders, what we see here is you've got a different type of cassette. It looks like it goes from 12, maybe 13, 14, 15. What's that? What's your climbing gear? Is that about a 16?
Yeah, that might be a 21.
Okay.
A 21, yeah. This is in the days when a 10-speed was a 10-speed, not 10 on the back. So a lot of passionate people here, collectors from all types. G'day, mate. What's your name?
How are you, Phil? My name's Billy. Billy Joe.
Billy, Billy, do you know anything about this bike, mate?
Unfortunately, I do, Phil. This bike is one of the ones that gives me nightmares at night. My crutch has never recovered. If you can look at that position there, your handlebars are not meant to be that far below your seat. They're just not.
That there is about the same size as the one on my road bike, the biggest one I have.
Doesn't matter. This is the only one that matters here. This is the big fella here.
Okay. The big meat.
The big meat.
Do you want to take it for a ride?
No, I really shouldn't. I probably... All right. Oh, this hurts. Oh, this sucks. Do you want me to track stand it?
No, just... No, really don't. It's someone else's bike.
As I'm walking around the Melbourne Custom Bike Show, I seem to recognise some of these bikes, and I believe I might have come upon one of my old ones here. Darren, isn't it?
That's right.
Darren, geez, this is something from the old Panasonic days by the looks of it.
Yeah, yep.
Maybe like an 85, an 86?
86 or 87.
Oh, okay.
You rode these,
87. So we're here at the Melbourne Custom Bike Show with Paul Farron, who has one of the best collection of bicycles in Australia. And Paul, what do you got here today?
Well, some years ago you said, I'm glad I never had to race any of that, this old iron. with my bikes. So I thought I'd bring a bamboo one along that you could race on.
Well, that's right. Everybody's very proud of their steel bikes here. That's quite a fashion, but to have something made out of wood.
Well, there's actually quite a few wooden bicycles
I
here.
did see a couple of fly
There's
bikes.
a sort of everlasting appeal with wood.
So, Paul,
carry on.
what's this meter down here? That's
Well, they didn't have GPS mileometers in those days. Guess what? This is the 1890s version.
Okay,
and there's a little thing that goes around and ticks over and tells you how far you've gone. And if you actually time yourself and you were good at maths, you could actually work out the speed you were travelling at.
So it's been a treat, mate. Walk down memory lane.
It's been fantastic. Seen some really cool bikes.
Yeah, a few horror stories.
Oh God, yeah, that little
That's
ride on that ride on that pursuit bike made my crush Rosette regret it instantly.
Starting to get shivers, mate.
What do you reckon? We're going to come back again next year?
Yeah, certainly. No, this has been it's been a real treasure, actually.
Try to dig up a few more Ando bikes for it.
Yes, yep. So we're in Hawthorn at the start of the Melbourne Roobaix. This is the 10th. You've done quite a few. This is my very first, so I'm not sure what to expect.
Look, it's going to be fantastic. This is my 4th, possibly 5th, I can't quite remember, Phil. But it's going to be amazing. The weather's perfect, people are everywhere, there's bikes, outfits, and we're going to head out and go and meet some of the people now.
So Monique, you've got quite a get-up here. What is this, a dragon? Did I see flames coming out here?
If you've seen How to Train Your Dragon, the movie, which is very popular with the kids and with my daughter, this is Toothless.
Welcome to this Roubaix, people. There are celebrities everywhere. I've seen Phil Anderson, I've seen Stuart O'Grady, Lance Armstrong, and Dr. Ferrari. Out here for his first appearance.
Good to see you all.
And you're clean for this one, I'm guessing?
Absolutely, it's just vitamins.
Just vitamins, excellent.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
All right.
If you don't believe in credible cycling, I feel really sorry for you. You've got to dream big. Have you got my vitamins?
That's right. Oh, there we go.
It's a story. This is like my old... Well, I never raced in a rally, but yeah, the year after I went to rally, I rode the Panasonic, of course, with the Panasonic team. So what's your story, mate?
This one's a 1978 Team TI rally that is original. Apart from the rear cassette, because I'm getting a bit old and I can't ride up the hills quite as well as I used to.
We're right here. No idea where it is, but it's part of this Roubaix ride. I'm following this hubbard up here, doesn't know where he's going either.
Morning everyone, we're at Melbourne Roobaix, we're loving life, and I'd like you to introduce you to...
Easy.
Easy. Where are you from, Easy?
Q.
Q, which is not, it's close, it's not far Q, it's close.
No, close.
See what I did there?
We're on our way, actually.
I bet you've never heard that one. What brings you to the Melbourne Roubaix?
Well,
We don't know where we are.
Is it down there?
Can't be too hard to find a coffee around here.
We're getting a chance to get in the coffee era.
Hello, Norm Douglas.
When I first started to go out with Phil Anderson, all of us looked like who, and they knew that I was a bike
Phil
rider.
Anderson, what if?
So, but he's also a GC rider. So, you know, he's a good sprinter.
But he's got a little bit more meat
He's a
on
good
him.
stayer.
Is he like that in bed?
These are actually all the same age.
Hi mate.
Hey man.
How you doing? Good, what's your name?
Brendan.
Brendan, you're doing a fine job there.
Thank you very much.
Hello sir.
G'day.
How are you? Enjoying Melbourne Roubaix?
I'm doing well actually.
You are. What's the problem here?
No problem at all. I had a flat tyre, but luckily I had a Melbourne Roubaix repair kit from about 3 years ago.
Fantastic.
So here with Maverick. Here with Maverick, and on the back of Maverick we have
Goose.
The Iceman. The Iceman, is it? No.
Goose.
No. The Iceman and Maverick didn't talk, did they?
Melbourne Roubaix!
Where are we? Are we lost?
No, we're not too bad. I think.
But who cares, right? We got this?
Yeah, that's it.
That's right. So.
All sorted?
Yeah, it's all good.
Melbourne Roubaix!
the cobble!
So we're here on the final section of cobbles, and we've come across what is definitely the smallest human being I've seen today. Into the corner, yes! Here we are, final brutal section of cobbles. It's been a long, horrific day. Fortunately, I've got a couple of pints in the tank. We're on the home stretch. I can practically smell the finish line now, folks. The end of another Melbourne Roubaix. Hey!
You fall off there, I will laugh. Come on, Billy. Young lady. Young man, how are you? To the left. Come on, just to the left.
So, Adrian, the finish here, mate. How do you feel?
I'm feeling actually surprisingly fresh.
Surprisingly fresh. Did you ride today?
Yes, I did.
You look like you've come straight out of the makeup truck.
No, I haven't.
No? So, here at the finish, how's it going with the wife beater, mate?
Oh yeah, not too bad. It's always on.
We're mingling. Okay, so had a good day today?
We've had a wonderful day, thank you. It's been intergalactically fabulous. Astronomical.
And Ruth, you called in sick. What's this, a bit of honey nectar there?
This is okay.
Cure, hangover, what's it called?
Hot toddy.
Yeah, hot toddy.
Oh, okay. Hair of the dog?
Yeah.
Big night last night, was it?
Yeah.
So,
What am I doing?
I'm just going to ask you questions from my microphone. It's actually a scarf, but
Okay, I'll go with it. I'll
makes
go
it
with
look
it.
very important.
Okay.
So, highlight of the day?
The donuts. Donuts.
What is it with these bloody donuts? We missed out. Where do you get them? Is that here?
Yeah. So we're here at the finish of the 10th ever Melbourne Roubaix. This is a day where a lot of people get to do something they've never done, which is ride on cobblestones, much like they do in Europe. There's a young fella here. I think this is his first Melbourne Roubaix. How did you go today?
Totally lost.
How did you go on the cobblestones? I mean, this is your first time. You didn't struggle too much.
I got overtaken by Where's Wally and a few Captain Americas.
Yeah. So you managed.
Fun.
You kept it together. Didn't crash. No crashes.
No crashes.
Yeah. You gonna be back next year, you reckon?
I'd love to be back. Awesome event.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stuart O'Grady, winner of the Paris-Roubaix.
But not Melbourne Roubaix.
But not Melbourne Roubaix. There is no winner here. We're all winners.
It would be my longest ride if I did
you'd
it.
gone to ride. We're here with the man of the hour, Mr. Andy White.
Billy,
how's it gone?
Seamless, perfect, flawless. Everyone's had a good time.
I see the beer tent's working today. Is that a big race?
Yeah, well,
that was a debacle
did not
last
work
night.
at the bike show, and
no beer.
some angry
hipsters,
angry attendees, and beards.
And have you had a good day?
I've had a brilliant day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And are you going to do it again next year?
I suppose I have to.
Melbourne Roubaix done for the day. Enjoy it, Stormtrooper.
It's fantastic. And there you have it, folks. What a great weekend. Bike shows, famous cyclists, people dressed like Lance Armstrong with blood bags hanging out of their shoulders. Stuart O'Grady, wasn't the freckle there presenting, just fantastic. It was great to see him, young fella. And how about that interview with Shane Kelly? I thought he seemed a little bit drunk, though. Did you think that too?
Very much.
A little bit pissy pants there, Phil? I'm not sure. The guy's a wild card, I will say that. How did you find it, Phil?
No, look, I really enjoyed the weekend. I was there for just about every part, except for that interview with Shane. But
neither was he. I wouldn't worry too much.
But no, it was great. I mean, I think the whole community thing, and I think Andy White's on something here. This could be something that goes interstate, maybe even globally. You know, it's a...
They should have one in France, maybe Paris to, I don't know, Roubaix. They could actually make it for money.
There we go. They could do it, couldn't they?
Well, that'd be a horrible race. Why would you do that? No, forget that.
Yeah, terrific event, Phil, Billy Joe, I agree. And I think a really Melbourne event. The cobbles, the coffee,
the beer,
the pubs, the people, the
beards,
bikes,
the tattoos,
the hipster thing. Just a really Melbourne event. It's definitely Andy's onto something. If people want to get onto it next year, this year it sold out in 2 days. So it's really the quick and the dead.
So don't even try. It's not worth it. But if you do want to try, fixo.co.
And bless Andy's heart, they also do a thing where if you're from out of town and you miss out, you can still get in. So keep an eye out for Melbourne Roubaix next year. Can't wait. Right now, Billy Joe, I'm having a fanboy moment. I never thought this would happen in my 40-year life, that I would throw to Phil Anderson for a Tour de France preview.
I know, it still weirds me out a little bit that I've had Phil Anderson over to my house for dinner 3 times. To be fair, one of them's only because I deleted the whole podcast.
And are you embarrassed that Phil Anderson ate tofu?
No, I'm cool with tofu.
You're cool with tofu?
Yeah.
Okay. Tofu and ponytails. It's a nice thing. So, Phil...
If only we could throw to the ponytail.
Maybe when Phil's in France. So, Phil, we've got you here to talk about the Tour de France. Very quickly, let's touch on last year's because that gives a lot of context for this year. Last year, Christopher Froome, the British, by the way of...
South Africa.
Kenyan cyclist. Kenyan or South African?
South African, trust me.
We'll call him African.
African, by the way of Africa.
Afro-Australian, I prefer.
Christopher Froome crashed out. Contador crashed out. Nibali won. Is Nibali the real deal or is he a pretender?
No, I think he is the real deal. I think everybody remembers watching him. I think it was up Haute-Carmel in the Pyrenees. I think it was the last mountain stage, and he was barely grimacing, and he was just rode away from everybody. So I think he's a real deal. It would have been great to have both Froome and Contador there, but that's why we're going to be staying up late, watching it this year to see what really goes on.
So this year we have some real hitters. We've got Nibali, who we already mentioned, excellent bike control, very good cyclist. Christopher Froome, Alberto Contador. We've also got the dark horses, Nero Quintana
somebody, that's for sure.
From Colombia. We've also got Thibaut Pinot, the 25-year-old from France, who finished 3rd last year.
Or as we all know him, T-Bone Pinot.
Thibaut Pinot. We all love a bit of Pinot. Phil, what order are you going to rank them in for this year's tour?
Look, I get asked this quite a bit, but I think I think Froome's going to be dominant. Everybody last year thought it was going to be Froome and Contador, but Contador has just come off the Giro, and he did it pretty hard there. He did win quite convincingly, but by the end of the race, he'd started to wear a little bit, and I think he's trying to downplay his chances, saying he is fatigued, and I think deep down, I think he possibly is. While he was getting thrashed in Italy, Froome had his legs in cotton wool, doing very controlled efforts, taking it easy, watching everybody suffering out there, and he still came out and did very well in the Dauphiné, and so other than those two. Nibali, it's going to be good to see how he goes. He's been riding very conservatively so far. And then, of course, Quintana, you mentioned as well. I think, I'd like to really see him step up this year. But, I think it's going to be Froome. Then maybe Quintana. Contador, I hope he's still up there because he's a very exciting rider to watch. Just watch him in the first mountains.
So, Phil, speaking of Contador, you mentioned that he might be still experiencing a fair bit of fatigue from the Giro.
Will his fake shoulder injury still be plaguing him? Because we know he pretended that didn't really happen, did it?
No? I don't know. I've had shoulder problems before, and you could see every time he got up on the podium, he couldn't raise his arm, but he clearly recovered by the 3rd week because he was like, giving everybody high fives, when coming to the finish there on the last day.
If Contador does win and wins the double, he will be the first man to do it since Marco Pantani,
the pirate,
one of my favourites, despite his foibles. Phil, is it good for cycling if Contador backs up and wins the Tour after winning the Giro, or will it just increase the doubters?
Look, I think it would be okay. Of course, he's been spurred on by that director of his,
Oleg Tinkoff.
Tinkoff, that's right.
Olaf Tinkoff, I apologise.
And he's always put out challenges. I think his the first challenge he put out was to do all three, to do the Vuelta, the Giro, and the Tour de France. And I think he put €1 million up for anybody that get out there. Now, I don't know
if that's only like for the general classification contenders that he'll give €1 million to, because of course we've got Adam Hansen who's done, I think, 25 or 50 consecutive tours now.
What is it now? What's it going to be?
It's in the hundreds.
10 or 11.
And for a professional cobbler, that's a very good effort.
If Adam Hansen completes the tour, he equals the record for the most Grand Tours ever completed. Another interesting aside with Contador is that he has Peter Sagan in his team, which is Team Tinkoff, as we mentioned. So that means the team will be splitting the resources between Sagan trying to get the green jersey and Contador trying to get the yellow jersey. How do you think that'll play out, Phil?
Yeah, look, I think it's already been settled that Sagan will be by himself in that regard for the finishes. He hasn't got the same speed that he had 2 or 3 years ago. He could actually develop into a general classification rider in years to come. He's still got youth on his side, so I think he'll be up there to help for the general classification. If the opportunity comes, he can never be underestimated if he's in a small breakaway or a group towards the finish. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's other sprinters there that'll be, and it is a very mountainous tour this year too. I think there's only like maybe 6 sprinter stages. The rest are all out the door for the sprinters.
What do you think might the effect be of having Alpe d'Huez on the second last day for the sprinters on the Champs-Élysées? Do you think this could be the first year we see a not a recognised sprinter take the stage?
Well, where? In Paris?
Yes, in Paris.
Well, it has been done before, but no, it could do, because they say that it's like halfway through the stage, the last 9 stages, they're all mountain stages except for the last stage. So anybody that's in contention for the green jersey, they have to ride all that way through the mountains to be able to keep that jersey. So,
and the misconception that a lot of people have, who cycling public who don't understand how it works, if you're sitting out the back in the Grupetto, as it's known, they're not just dawdling along all day. They have to actually make the cutoff time. Those guys don't get to just roll along and then save themselves for the last day, do they, Phil?
No, there is a cut-off time every day, which is, normally it's 12%. If it's a shorter stage, it might be a little bit more, might be 15%. But yeah, the sprinters become very good mathematicians, because they get to know, they can calculate very quickly how many minutes behind the winner of the stage they can be before they're thrown out. So
so it becomes like a team time trial for guys who don't like to train very hard.
That's right. Well, yeah. We might go there.
I'll go there. That's fine.
So, Phil, speaking of the green jersey, we've got Andre Greipel, the big unit. We've got Marcel Kittel. We've got Peter Sagan. We've got Mark Cavendish. And we've also got the Australian, Mark Bling Matthews. How do you think Bling will measure up against the big boys?
A touch shorter, I think.
No, I mean, he's quite tall, actually.
I think it's possible Adam just referred to him as Mark Matthews, which is great.
Michael Matthews.
No.
Michelle Matthews.
Who's Mark Matthews?
I have no idea. Probably a cricketer.
Let's do that again. So, Phil, we've got Andre Greipel, we've got Mark Cavendish, we've got Michael Bling Matthews, and we've got Marcel Kittel, all vying for the green jersey. How do you rate Michael Matthews against those other big hitters?
Yeah, no, I think he's got a chance, because Matthews is not a pure sprinter. If you had him and Greipel up against each other, if they were both on their game, I think Greipel would possibly have the better of him. However, if you throw a hill in there, like what you've got in the last 10 days, because it's not just a matter of winning stages, you have to finish in the top. They give points down to like 10th place, so you just have to be consistent through the 3 weeks. And you pick up a couple of points today, a couple of points tomorrow, even in the mountains days. If you can get up there in the top 10 and get a few points there, they're the ones which Matthews will get that Greipel won't get.
So, Phil, the big units, Greipel and Kittel, can they get through the mountains and finish on the Champs-Élysées?
I think
They can. Look, it's a tough one really because 9 stages straight with mountains or hilly stages, they're not going to be getting into those points those days. So, will they continue to ride? If they haven't got the green jersey, if they're not defending it, they might just pull the pin, which is great for somebody like Matthews.
I think Matthews is in with a real show this year. Cavendish, Kittle, all those big boys, they'll struggle to get through the hills. So it'd be interesting to see.
Is anyone going to match Kittle's hair though this year?
No chance.
So no Rigoberto Urán.
No Urán in this year's tour. So
Kittle's going to run away with the hair jersey.
He's got the hair stakes
Definitely.
well and truly tied up.
As a former winner of the hair jersey, Phil, how do you rate Kittle's chances?
Well, it sounds like he's already won it.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the ponytail. We can't give him that. No. I think yours was the last splendid ponytail, which, I mean, we will be interviewing the ponytail in the future on this show. But no, I think he's in for a good shot with that one anyway.
Yeah, mullets seem to have left the peloton, haven't they?
Largely so. Yeah.
I think Neil Stevens wasn't the last one.
He was the shortest one though, definitely.
The sweariest one.
Yes.
So Phil, the first stage, usually they have quite a short prologue. This year they've got a 15-kilometre time trial. And this is where we might see some Aussies come into play. Rowan Dennis from Team BMC was the hour record for a short time. Can he win the time trial, 15-kilometre time trial, stage 1?
Look, Australians are traditionally pretty good. A lot of the Australians come through the track endurance program. So somebody like Dennis, he's got the 24 hours. Sorry, he's got the.
He did the 24-hour record in 1 hour. That's how quick he is.
He's very quick.
He's very quick.
He smashed it.
Yeah, he did. But no, so he'll be motivated. He'll want to show his presence on the team because, of course, he changed teams last year. So he wants to show BMC that they've made the right decision having him on board.
Now, Phil, you're going to be over there. Tell us about your plans for France over the next few weeks.
Yes, well, I fly straight to Barcelona in Spain, so I'm
That's not in France, though, is it?
It's not even. It's not even near Holland where the race starts. We've just got a group of friends who are going to spend basically 10 days riding in the Pyrenees and waiting for the Tour de France to come to us.
Terrific.
So we see the race for a couple of days in the mountains in the Pyrenees, and then that tour finishes and we pick up in Avignon in Provence, and then we go into the Alps. So everybody wants to ride in the mountains. Overrated, I reckon.
Why doesn't anyone want to follow the Tour of Holland? That would be way easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, as long as you got a tailwind.
Tailwind, you got it's flat. They've got the weed. I mean, it'd be way better.
Windmills,
dikes. Tulips, dikes. Well, there's a lot of them.
So, Phil, if people want to get on board one of your tours, how do they go about it? What's the best way to go about it?
Just go online, philandersoncycling.com.au.
And just to finish up, if you could tell us, as a former competitor, now a organiser of tours over there, what is it that you love about the Tour de France? What draws you to it each year?
Look, it's it's really like a Disneyland for a cyclist, just riding the beautiful terrain over there. It's the middle of summer, quiet roads, such a variety of terrain. It's not as big as Australia, but just about every corner of France is paradise for a cyclist.
Sounds fantastic. We should head over ourselves, Billy Joe.
We should at some stage, definitely. Hopefully this show gets big enough that we get to take Grupetto show to France.
Someone might fly us there. That'd be good.
That'd be great. And that's probably going to do it from us here at Grupetto show with myself, the has-been, Billy Joe Shearsby, my co-host as always,
Adam Kelsall, the know-it-all,
and the legend himself, Phil Anderson.
Thanks for joining us, Phil.